Welcome to Scofield Farm. I'm Carice and we live in Northern California, Zone 9B. And this morning I am actually putting alfalfa hay on my potato bed. I've been trying to experiment with different ways to mulch and help the potatoes in the heat. We do not have irrigation to them. We have irrigation to all of our raised beds, not to this kind of above ground, but on the ground bed that we made. So alfalfa feeds the soil. It also helps with evaporation. We do have a layer of wood chips down, but I got a lot of slivers in my hands harvesting last time just because of the wood chips. The wood chips will still feed the soil, but hopefully this will make harvesting a little easier and still protect it from the brutal sun, the brutal heat. Right now I'm tossing the hay onto the bed, and then I think I'm gonna try to break it up. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to do with the plants that are already growing. We had 3 succession rounds of potatoes. We started with our first round early March, already harvest those. Our second round were some potatoes, organic potatoes from the grocery store that I forgot to use. So we planted those in places we had taken brassicas out late. Then we did a third round we just planted last week of Yukon Gold seed potato. Those are the ones that haven't come up yet. So I'm gonna try to see how I can do this, and hopefully it was a really good idea and I'm not regretting all the grasses that sprout from the alfalfa, because it's actually hay. It is not straw, it is hay. But it has all the nutrients, which is that part I'm really excited about. Okay, so I'm just gonna I have these gloves that have claws. I use this actually for digging potatoes, and I can't ever keep gloves on very long, which is why I end up with splinters. And I pull it apart this way. Hopefully this will feed this soil bed more and more. We did this bed like sheet mulching. So we put down cardboard. Ooh, that's crazy. We put down actually unfinished compost. We had some finished compost, wood chips. We layered, and then we planted into it. And this is, I think, is this our 3rd year? I think it's our 3rd year with potatoes here, but we did rotate brassicas in this bed. The brassicas were over the winter and in the spring, just so that we could get, when you rotate, you help with the pest issues and the different nutrients that are taken by specific varieties of plants. This is very messy, and I'm sure I'm going to be very, very itchy before I'm done with this. Okay, so right here, you see the eaten off tops. Okay, so I've seen a couple grasshoppers in the garden. This could very well be grasshopper damage, but I also found hornworms on my potato plants for the first time. So I'm going to be looking carefully as I mulch to see if I see any of those hornworms on here, because it's on several different plants. So I'm very curious what might be going on. Just eyeballing it, I don't see one, but we did get a black light flashlight, so we can come out here after dark and look around on the damaged plants and see what we find. Okay, I'm going to show you how the potato bed looks mulched. I decided to mulch my tomatoes in pots that were my experiment this year. They're really suffering because the pots are way too hot. But I found this little devil of a hornworm just now, and it made me scream, so I got to show you. I first noticed the poop, then the damage, and as I kept going up, I saw more and more damage, and this guy is huge. We just checked for hornworms the other night and didn't see him. How did he get that big if we didn't see him? That is just crazy to me. Off to the chickens you go. She is deciding if she eats him. I think she's even intimidated by his size. I mean, he's huge. Thank you for helping me out, little girl. Oh my gosh. Okay, so on a different note, here is the potato bed with the alfalfa hay. I am very pleased with it. My arms are itchy. Next time I need to wear my Farmer's Defense sleeves. I have the hat on because it's so hot, but the sleeves would have helped the itchiness. So that is my tip for the day. There's my shadow. Every time I see my shadow in a video, I feel like Peter Pan. I don't know if anyone else ever thinks that kind of thing, but I think of Peter Pan looking for his shadow in Wendy's room. But yeah, it looks pretty good. And over here, put it in these pots, these black nursery pots. I had extra tomatoes. I don't know if you guys remember. I put them in these pots. They were doing great, and then they started suffering. See, I think it's one of two things. Well, it's probably two of two things. One, they get too hot. If it's 114 direct sunlight on black plastic, I have watered them sometimes, and the water draining at the bottom is almost boiling. And that's just from the day. That's not hot water that I watered with. Second, some of them I don't think have enough room. Even though they're big, I still think they probably needed more room for their roots. And so I think they flourished, then it got hot, they got kind of cooked roots and crowded roots. And that's kind of my theory, but that's what's going on. I really need to do a garden tour soon so you guys can see the garden in July. I need to do a little cleanup first because I've been really crazy busy. And it's been really hot, but I do want to show you guys because things have changed so much just since my June tour, so much. I'm gonna harvest a few cherry tomatoes. I really need to tie these things up. They are laying all over the place. I look like really messy gardener right now, but I'm gonna harvest some right now. See how they're kind of laying down? Whoopsie. A handful that are ready. Sun gold are my favorite. I snap on these in the garden every time I'm out here. We obviously bring them inside too, but they are our favorite to snack on. A little cup of tomatoes, that's not too shabby at all. Last thing I'm doing out here today is cleaning up this Echinacea or purple coneflower. I dry the leaves and the petals for medicinal tea. They are cut and come again flowers, so if you cut them, they will bloom again. Let me show you. Okay, this blossom is basically spent. But right here, there are, see how that can sprout up right there? Another bloom waiting to come up. So if I cut the spent ones, oh, here's another one. Oh, look at this. I think this is like a native bee. It's got little pollen saddles. Look at it. I don't know if I've seen that one before, but it's super cute. Little tiny pollen saddles, a little tiny forager bee. So showing you how I do this one-handed is pretty much impossible, but I'm gonna try. Just going to cut, and as I cut them, I will bring them inside, lay them on my shelf, and then I will pick the leaves and the petals off. Other fun stuff I've harvested today, I got a ton of snap peas in July. Now, if you saw the plant, it is basically done. They are like shriveled, but still giving peas out. So I probably need to cut and drop them, chop and drop pretty soon. They are great nitrogen fixers in the garden, so I don't pull the roots. I just cut them and cut up the leaves and stems and just lay them down. Down one garlic that was still in there, a zucchini, a couple cucumbers, pickling cucumbers, and then this is going to be for a little caprese salad with lunch. I've got several tomatoes. Look at that beauty. This is a Cherokee purple. It is so beautiful. A couple different tomatoes I'm bringing in. Oh, I love these. These are Brad's Atomic Grape. This one's not quite ripe. I'm going to do it on the counter, but this one is a little bit riper color. They're kind of a psychedelic tie-dye. I love it. Now I'm going to get the rest of the Echinacea. This is about to be buried in Echinacea. Buried. So as I'm working on this, I'm leaning over this dill. absolutely beautiful, flowered, a lot of it dried seed. I definitely need to harvest this. I have this wonderful like dill pickle smell while I'm harvesting, and I wish I could send smell waves to you guys because wow. And did you know you can still make dill pickles with the seeds and the flower heads, not just the dill weed? I learned that. I know it sounds so like no duh, but pickling spices are the seed. I used to harvest all the dill weed. I would freeze it because the flavor lasts really well in the freezer, but sometimes I'm really busy, I can't do that. So now I just harvest the flower heads, the seeds, I stick it right in the pickles I'm making, and it's still got that wonderful dill aroma and flavor. It's pretty great. So if you are too busy to harvest your weed before it bolts, the seeds and flower heads work just as good. Okay, back to harvesting my Echinacea. Okay, so that is very cleaned up. It also is gonna help some of my peppers back here. We're getting kind of pushed over. If you can see, they're competing with it. So they're fine, but now they're gonna have a little bit more space, and this will fill in and grow. Because you can see there's a lot of little new heads that were really wanting to come up, but they were underneath. And so now they're gonna have their turn. I love cut and come again flowers. And I love flowers that are also medicinal and that are good for your body, because then, you know, you can cut them for arrangements, but to cut them to use is even better in your teas and stuff. And then you can let your garden keep blooming and have fresh blossoms for the bees and different pollinators, which is what we all want in our garden, right? We all want that. Okay, this is my full basket Echinacea, but you guys saw what's on bottom. This is a super fun harvest. I love it. You guys, it's hot. This is morning. I'm gonna have to be done. I wish I could come out tonight, but we've got a birthday party for my son at the lake. It's gonna be perfect time to be by water because it is going to be like 112 today, and it is so hot. I'm sweating like crazy. So it's time for me to be done, but thank you for joining me. Let me know in the comments if you have ever mulched with alfalfa hay. I have been reading a lot of permaculture books, a lot of books about feeding the soil and regenerative farming or gardening, homesteading. And so I thought I would try this in addition to wood chips. We love back to Eden method of partially decomposed wood chips, aged wood chips. We've done it for, I don't know, I think our entire gardening time, like 13, 14 years. I guess we've been 14 years growing veggies, longer growing herbs and flowers. But yeah, let me know your experience with it, if you felt like it was good. And also, as always, if you enjoy what we share with you, we'd love to have you subscribe. We'd love to have you hit the like button just so YouTube shows our videos to more people who might enjoy our content. You guys have a great day and take care of your plants. I will talk to you again soon.